True scary story. My name is Emily, and this happened about a year ago, and I still get chills just thinking about it. I was living alone in this old apartment building in a really quiet part of town. It was one of those places where the walls are thin and the floors creak, no matter how carefully you walk. But it was home, and I liked the peace and quiet, at least until that night. It was a Friday, and I had decided to stay in, just relax and watch a movie. Everything was normal until around midnight, when I suddenly heard a knock on my door. It was really soft at first, so I thought maybe I imagined it. But then it came again, louder this time. It was strange because I wasn't expecting anyone, especially not at that hour. I felt this weird sense of dread, but I told myself it was nothing. I went to the door and looked through the peephole, but there was no one there. I kind of laughed it off, thinking maybe it was just a prank or something. I locked the door, went back to my movie, and tried to forget about it. But then, maybe an hour later, just as I was getting ready for bed, the knocking started again. This time, it was louder, more desperate, like whoever was out there really needed to get in. I remember my heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. And then, I heard whispering. It was so faint, I could barely make out the words, but it sounded like someone was begging for help. I was terrified, but I forced myself to go back to the door and look through the peephole again. And there was someone standing there, just a shadowy figure, right in front of my door. I couldn't see a face, just a dark outline in the dim hallway light. Then I heard this voice. It was so soft, almost like a breath, but it said, "Please, let me in. I swear, I've never been so scared in my life." I backed away from the door and called the building manager, trying to keep my voice steady. He told me no one else had reported anything weird, and by the time the police showed up, the hallway was empty. There was no sign of anyone. I couldn't stay there that night, so I went to a friend's place. The next day, I talked to the building manager again, and he told me something that made my blood run cold. Apparently, a woman who lived in my apartment before me had mysteriously disappeared years ago. She was last seen knocking on doors at midnight, just like I heard, begging people to let her in. I moved out of that apartment the following week. I just couldn't shake the feeling that whatever knocked on my door that night was connected to that missing woman. Even now, I can't help but wonder, what would have happened if I had opened the door? How would you rate this story on a scale of 1 to 10? Share your rating in comments.